Muscles do not need to be shocked into growth. They need progressive overload. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And this is a topic that a lot of people who follow my work, my different social media YouTubes are probably like, yeah, we know this. This is basic knowledge. Everybody knows this, but the reality is they don't. And this is the sort of stuff that a lot of people who haven't read a lot, they're not well read, they're not well experienced, don't realize, because for so many years you've had people talking about, oh, you got to shock muscles into growth. My God, we had Rich Piana saying it for years back before he passed away. He used to talk about, I got this 8-hour arm workout, we got to shock the muscles into growth. And again, there is no evidence to believe that any of this is necessary. And I'm not saying that it won't always work, because people are like, well, I've done stuff to where for years I've shocked muscles into growth. I've just done crazy one-off workouts and I've gotten bigger. And it's like, well, yeah, you've gotten bigger because you've worked hard. Okay. And I don't think anyone's going to deny that. All right. Working hard consistently, even if it's not the best application of it, even if it's not the most well thought out, can tend to stimulate muscle growth, right? Because you're working hard and progressive tension tends to happen. You've increased something, either the weight you're using, the reps, the volume, something is increasing, when you're doing these things. And as long as you're trying to push forward and improve in some manner, you probably will get gains. The problem is this idea that, if you come in and add huge amounts of new novel stuff, that it's going to cause more muscle growth than a normal good workout. And it's just simply not going to do so. Not saying it can't produce just as much. So I want to be clear here, right? Even if you were doing a normal good workout and you pushed everything with a little bit of progress, you improved, right? You're obviously going to get good muscle growth stimulus from it. But if you came in and did something crazy and extreme, you're of course still getting stimulus. Okay? You're probably doing more work than you're used to doing in some manner. So yeah, you're probably going to reach those upper threshold muscle fibers. You probably are going to fatigue them. Okay? And therefore you're going to grow. But the problem is you can exhaust yourself, you can burn yourself out, risk of injuries, for no extra gains. And that's the point I'm getting at. These different extreme methods people do. I came and did a bunch of triple drop sets, right? Everything to failure. I did 25 sets for my arms with forced reps, having a spotter help me do forced reps at the end and shocking the biceps into growth. And it's like, after the first couple sets of that, you probably weren't doing anything, right? You weren't stimulating anything. Why? Because all the muscle fibers that are capable of growing, which is going to be, the more fast twitch ones. Once you're an advanced lifter, if you've been working hard for at least a year, 2 years, none of your intermediate muscle fibers grow anymore. So I want to be clear on that. The only time they grow is if you add magical substances to the mix in new amounts that you haven't previously done. In other words, you up the dose, bro. And if you don't know what I mean by special or magical supplements, that's code for certain illicit substances. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Yes, those are capable of causing those fibers to grow again. Training won't. Okay, because they grow so easy early on. That's why, again, people are like, man, new gains come so fast. Well, yeah, because all of your muscle fibers, most of your muscle fibers are capable of growing when you're a noob. Okay, so it's like a magical honeymoon period. Once you get through that, really only the deeper muscle fibers grow. So, for the next 10 years, all of your growth is actually coming from a much smaller number of muscle fibers, right? The ones that are easy to get to, you've maxed them out. The ones that don't seem to have an upper limit, like that's why I tell people, yeah, there's natty limits practically, but technically speaking, on a technical level, yes, in theory, you have muscle fibers that can continue to grow forever. Even completely drug-free, like natural. Yeah, that is actually true. Okay? And we know that. That's been kind of studied in the lab. The problem is it's only a small percentage of your muscle fibers. Okay? But those really are unlimited. But the longer you've been training, that's kind of the only ones that keep growing. You can't they won't recruit over and over and over. In other words, once they've been exhausted in a workout, unless you go take a 30-minute break, you're probably not activating them again. Okay? Just like you'll hit those same fibers on a 1 rep max. People are not aware of that. All those deep muscle fibers can actually be hit on 1 rep max, true 1 rep max lifts, because you get every muscle fiber. Okay? Notice that you can't repeat a true 1 rep max again too easy. Until all those motor units and muscle fibers have recovered enough to do it, you probably can't replicate it. So in other words, you go do a 500-pound deadlift. If that is a grindy everything you have, like you couldn't do 510 probably. You do that 500 and grind it out, and it's really heavy, but you make it, and you try to do it again in 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. What usually happens? You usually fail. Even if you do get it, you're not going to repeat it a third time in another 5 minutes. Not going to happen. Those fibers need time to recover. And so if you're just coming in, you're not getting to them again. You're reworking the muscle fibers over and over that probably are not growing. You're just beating yourself up. Okay? Now, mentally it might feel good to you. Maybe it gets you motivated or whatever, fine. I'm not denying the possible mental aspects. But it's not doing anything growth-wise. We grow from progressing. Okay? In other words, do you want to stimulate new muscle growth that wasn't there before? Do 1% more work than you did previously. In other words, let's say on your bench press, the most reps you've ever been able to get is 10 reps with 225 with good form. Okay? If you come in and get 11 reps, that's a big jump in workload. Right? For an advanced lifter, that's a big jump. That is a brand new training stimulus. Okay? What about if you went up to 226, you put 1 extra pound on, and you get it for 10 reps? You've increased workload. And if that's a hard, challenging set, that's a new adaptation, right? Progressive overload. How about even a volume side? Let's say you've never successfully got the 3 sets of 10. Let's say maybe you get 10, then 9, then 8 or 7 on the third set, and you've never got further. But then you get to where that last set, you get more, or you finally hit that total volume PR with that weight. And I'm just using that in the bench press as an example. Obviously, we're using multiple exercises to work each muscle. Okay. If you progress, though, in terms of the workload that the muscle is being subjected to, the amount of tension, okay, you do more work. You work harder. Even if it's a microscopic amount harder, you're probably going to see new muscle growth from it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.